Bianca Ojukwu's confirmation as Minister of State for Foreign Affairs just took place, leaving many Nigerians to figure out for themselves the outcome of a long-standing political debate. Will the quest for self-determination and the restoration of the defunct Republic of Biafra by the Igbo people of Nigeria eventually jettisoned, or is it just the demands of the Igbo people in line with a restructured Nigeria being met? Why exactly are these questions necessary, and what does this signal in terms of the future presidential ambition of Peter Obi, who enjoyed huge support from Bianca Ojukwu during the 2023 presidential election? Also, will this appointment pave way for the much-demanded release of Nnamdi Kanu by members of the Independent Peoples of Biafra IPOB, or will it stand in the way, ending up as some kind of compromise against the Igbos? But more importantly, does this signal the end of a multi-party system in Nigerian politics? The nomination of Bianca Ojukwu, the widow of the late Biafran leader Odumegwu Ojukwu, as a minister under President Tinubu's administration is a development loaded with political and symbolic implications for Nigeria. To begin, Bianca's nomination as minister by the Tinubu administration marks another pivotal, albeit controversial moment in the political legacy of Odumegwu Ojukwu, the revered figure of Biafra. For some Nigerians, Bianca's confirmation as minister could be seen not only as a continuation of Ojukwu's vision of a greater representation for the Igbo people within the Nigerian political landscape, but could as well offer an avenue for reconciliation between the Nigerian state and the southeastern community, indicating that the government is willing to extend an olive branch to Igbo leaders. On the other hand, critics have argued that Bianca's decision to join Tinubu's government undermines Ojukwu's legacy, as he famously resisted assimilation into the Nigerian establishment unless within the context of a restructured Nigeria. For most Biafran sympathizers, this could be seen as a dilution of Ojukwu's ideals, especially as it perhaps sends a signal that the Biafran cause is becoming negotiable within mainstream politics. But what about the impact on the All Progressives Grand Alliance, otherwise known as APGA, the political party Ojukwu helped establish to strengthen the voice of the southeastern people? Well, to the Afghans, Bianca's nomination raises questions about her political alignment and loyalty to the party. Her association with Tinubu's administration might indicate a shift away from APGA's regional stance towards a more national alignment. But Bianca's supporters still argue that this is a chance for APGA to secure a foothold in federal politics, potentially opening up broader influence for southeastern interests. However, skeptics see this move as a potential dilution of APGA's core ideology, possibly weakening its influence as a voice of opposition. Bianca's shift could further fragment the already divided opposition, weakening APGA's unique identity as a champion of southeastern rights. But of very critical significance here is how this move might impact on the presidential ambition of the former governor and 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, as experts have argued that Bianca's confirmation as a minister under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration could have mixed implications for Peter Obi's presidential ambitions. In 2023, Bianca was a vocal supporter of Obi, which helped reinforce his appeal in the southeast, considering her respected standing as the widow of the late Biafran leader Odumegwu Ojukwu. Her confirmation under an APC-led administration, however, raises questions about her continued allegiance to Peter Obi and whether she may now be perceived as supporting the ruling party's agenda. On one side, a new role might be seen as a loss for Obi's camp. Bianca's alignment with Tinubu could weaken Obi's influence in the southeast, as she was previously seen as a prominent advocate for the Labour Party's cause. With prominent southeastern figures like Bianca appearing to be shifting towards the ruling party, it might reduce Obi's ability to unify southeastern leaders around his political vision. Her confirmation could signal to voters that southeastern representation within the APC might address their interest, potentially diluting Obi's core support base. But what about Nnamdi Kanu? Bianca's ministerial appointment also touches on the sensitive issue of Nnamdi Kanu's detention and the federal government's approach towards addressing separatist sentiments. There are those who see Bianca's involvement in Tinubu's cabinet as a hopeful step, potentially allowing her to advocate for Kanu's release and the peaceful resolution to the Southeast's grievances. According to them, her role could pave the way for a dialogue that addresses the region's demands in a non-combative manner, helping to bridge the gap between the federal government and separatist sympathizers. However, this assumption may be overly optimistic, as Bianca's proximity to power does not guarantee her influence on issues as sensitive as Kanu's release, and most critics still fear her nomination may be seen as an attempt to quell southeastern opposition without genuine policy changes. Regardless, the implications of Bianca Ojukwu's new position could have broader consequences in Nigeria's opposition politics. Her nomination under Tinubu, a president associated with the APC, could signal a trend where politicians co-opt prominent opposition figures as a strategy to weaken resistance against the ruling party. This would create a precedent of blending political boundaries, leaving opposition parties with fewer influential voices to challenge their administration effectively. On the flip side, her presence could also invigorate Nigeria's opposition if she manages to use her role to advocate for more inclusive and balanced national policies, presenting an image of an opposition voice within the ruling government. However, this would require walking a delicate line, ensuring she doesn't simply become a figurehead in the administration, but rather a genuine advocate for alternative perspective within the ruling structure. Bianca Ojukwu's nomination as a minister reflects a complex web of potential outcomes and risk for Ojukwu's legacy, APGA's identity, Nnamdi Kanu's release prospect, and Nigeria's opposition landscape. Each potential consequence depends heavily on how she leverages her new position and whether she prioritizes regional representation, national interest, or a blend of both. Thanks for watching, and if this is your first time on this channel, kindly ensure to click on the subscribe and notification button for more videos on politics and Powerplay.